What's going on, YouTube? First YouTube video. So I'll just kind of get right into it. So I recently actually got laid off from my 6-figure cybersecurity job. It really sucks. But I thought it was important to make a video. This is my first video on the YouTube channel, by the way, so nice to meet you guys. I thought it would be important to make a video with all the layoffs going on right now, and talk about like my experience and how I'm gonna move forward. So yeah, I've been working in cybersecurity for 4 years. It just got to 4 years of experience. I have a background working in, a security operations center for, the government and Fortune 50 company, and I was currently working in threat intelligence for another private company that is also a global company, a big news and media organization that you guys might know of. But yeah, I just recently got laid off today. I could kind of read the writing on the wall the past few months. So I had been applying around, thankfully, for the past 2 months. I've been at this job for almost 2 years. And it just seemed like with kind of the economic climate right now and, the political uncertainty and, geopolitical uncertainty with everything that's been going on in the world, it just seems like there's a lot of layoffs. And obviously, the big one is AI, right? I think I'll dive into this a little bit more. This kind of video is unstructured. I'm not editing it or anything. I'm doing it off the top of the head, so just bear with me. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough market to be in. I've thrown out about 60 applications in the past 2 months. I know that might not sound like a lot, but because my role is kind of specialized, there's not like a lot of job postings for it. Out of the 60 applications, just to be transparent with you guys, out of the 60 applications, right, a lot of them were my specific specialization, but some of them were also other roles that I think that I could have been a good fit for. I had 2 interviews out of the 60 job applications, which for my research is actually pretty good for this job market. I haven't landed anything yet, and I'm working on finding a new role, but I kind of want to talk about like how I feel in this video after a layoff, and kind of the things I was seeing at the company when I had joined, in terms of things like offshoring. That was quite worrying. And maybe that'll be like a separate video too. I'll make a video about, not only is the cybersecurity job market so saturated and it's a tough job market, that's the case all across the board, but I feel like with cybersecurity, it's a little bit worse because we're seen as a cost center. We don't generate any revenue unless you work at like a security provider or something like that. So I think it's a little bit worse for us, as well as just the sheer amount of people applying to roles that are making it very difficult for recruiters to sift through resumes. So they'll use things like AI to screen resumes and help them screen resumes, which once again could be a separate video as well. But I think that is affecting the job market in a negative way, because it's just like well, you have like hundreds of applicants, and are you going to sift through each individual resume, or are you going to use like an AI ATS system that's going to be able to score these candidates for you and kind of give you the top candidates? Or if everyone's hitting the ATS keywords, like that's commonly known, they use these sort of AI tools to judge your background more than just like ATS keywording, which I kind of figured out. So the job market is kind of cooked in all angles, almost. It seems like there's offshoring, right? US companies offshoring to cheap labor countries like India, Philippines, or what they call like nearshoring now, where they're opening up centers in South America, right? Nearshoring, because like those people in New Mexico speak like better English, like more of like a better culture fit. So that's been the new kind of trend there. And then there's AI, right? Not just for cybersecurity, but like all across the board. There's a lot of uncertainty with AI. A lot of executives that are quick to lay off employees, in my opinion, to appease investors, because hey, look, like we implemented AI and we were able to reduce costs by this much, so it looks great for like investors and stuff like that. And it's offshoring AI in combination with, I think, the job market being saturated, AI being used in filtering out job applicants, unfortunately. It's tough, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I just want people to know, and I really like this, that when I was going through something, it was nice to know that like I wasn't the only one, going through that, right? Like a layoff or something like that. Like this is happening to a lot of people right now. We've been seeing the layoffs the past few months with Amazon, Block, all these huge companies just firing people and doing more with less, but using AI almost, in my opinion, as an excuse, saying, hey, like we can do this with lower headcount, because we have AI now, and that should increase productivity and output. But that's a problem on its own, because I don't think everyone has their opinions. I think AI can be a useful tool, but I don't think it's enough to replace headcount. I was watching this video earlier where Jensen Huang, I don't know if I pronounced his last name correctly or not, but the CEO of NVIDIA said, hey, like smart companies are actually doing more with more, right? Like, imagine if you had more staff, but you also, implemented AI on top of that staff, your output would be a lot more, which I found very interesting and that I agree with. Instead of, jumping the gun and cutting headcount right now, where AI is actually, I don't think it's like proven. I do think sometimes it makes mistakes. And sometimes, everyone has their opinions. I think for certain use cases, it's very good. I don't think it's enough to like replace headcount. So there's that. And then there's another thing that I forgot to mention, is that companies are investing heavily in AI right now, especially, a lot of companies are, even if you're not working at like a tech company, and they need money. So what's kind of like the biggest cost center where they can, get that money from and invest in AI? It's to reduce headcount, save money there, and then, invest in AI. So that's a whole nother thing that companies are doing right now. And these are just my observations, right? It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, because I'm not at the experience level that would get me that puts me in like a senior level or anything like that. So I'm struggling just like a lot of people are right now. I can't imagine like new graduates going into this job market. I feel for you guys. It's a really tough job market. You're competing with a bunch of people who got laid off and experienced people, and then on top of that, you're seeing like entry level jobs disappear and get offshored or just not you know being filled because of all this AI stuff, um, and just the uncertainty of the world. But you know, I don't know, right? Like, you can only control how you react to a situation, right? Um, can't control like what happens to you, right? So that's kind of how I've been thinking about things moving forward. I've been applying for IT jobs, cybersecurity jobs all across the board. Trying to get my, you know, feet wet again, right? Um, and land my next role, and put my pride aside and not, even if it's not cybersecurity related, I'm open to help desk or like a senior IT role, right? I'm also applying for those as well. My advice would be, if you're in the cybersecurity job market and you are entry level and you have no experience, apply everywhere, but don't neglect the help desk IT, entry level IT roles. Don't do it. Like, if you are not working in IT or cybersecurity right now and you're applying around, I know like the job market in general is tough, but I can say, like, apply, broaden your applications, right? Don't just apply to cybersecurity jobs. Apply to IT jobs. Apply anywhere that can give you the skill set to eventually transition into what you want to do in the future. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video, kind of, you know, explaining about my experience getting laid off. It sucked because, it was a good role. I was working hybrid, working from home a few days a week. It was good work-life balance. I like my coworkers. I think the company was a good company, but they started doing things like implementing AI into performance reviews and just things that signaled that there are cuts coming, and I kind of knew it ahead of time, so I already had applications and some interviews in, thankfully. So the next step forward for me, I'm going to be applying to IT jobs, cybersecurity jobs all across the board. We'll see where I end up landing. If you guys are ever interested or curious, or would like me to make any videos to expand upon the topics that I kind of talked about today, I'm more than happy to do so. The cybersecurity job market is really tough. It is. I saw a video and it said the cybersecurity job market is cooked, and it is. It really is, and that's not to be a doomer. I don't say any of these things to be a doomer. I consider myself to be, as try to be realistic, right? Be positive but realistic. It is tough out there right now. It is tough out there. People are not leaving their jobs, right? And I think corporations and just in general companies are taking advantage of that, right? They know like a lot of people don't really have a choice right now to go anywhere else or go to another job, because, well, there's not really many other jobs. So I think that's a scenario in the current job market in general, and more so why I think it's specifically worse for cybersecurity, because we're a call center. You don't make the company any money, like I said, unless you work for a security company, and even then I don't think you're safe from layoffs, right? You know, it's tough. It's tough. There's a do more with less economy, and for my specific situation, I kid you not, we already had teams with such a low headcount before all these layoffs started happening. And I'll go maybe more into this in a separate video if you guys want me to make it, because like it could be a video in itself. But I started when I started working this job, I saw so many positions in other countries on other like cyber defense teams, cybersecurity teams, and like this is a U.S. company, right? They were literally hiring, juniors from other countries, instead of hiring like U.S. talent, where there's so many people in the U.S. applying for jobs, trying to get an entry-level job. But like, for example, our whole detection engineering team, there were 2 people on that team. One person from India and a lead from the US for like a year or 2. And then when they did hire someone, they hired 2 people, juniors from India. Well, one from South America, sorry, and one from India. And then when the lead detection engineer left from the US, they ended up, I noticed, replacing his role with someone in Canada, because they're lower cost centers, right? Like, well, now it's kind of obvious what's going on, it seems like. And I just kind of noticed like other teams, they're just filled with people from, offshore countries with like 1 or 2 people who are leads. And it's hard to see these things happen in real time. It kind of makes you lose hope. But I all you can do is hope, right? Like, I'm holding on to my hope right now, and I think, once again, can't control kind of what happens to you. You can only control how you react to the situation, right? So for all you guys in the job market right now who got laid off, hang in there. For all my cybersecurity people who are trying to break in, who got laid off, hang in there. Hopefully things get better with the economic climate and geopolitical uncertainty, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel with the AI stuff as well. I do think, in a way, AI is increasing the attack surface, right? So I do think it can actually create more jobs. It's just right now we're kind of in a period of like, it almost seems like a transition period with, all these companies like implementing AI, but like not knowing like the return on investment, or like, is this actually working? Like, I feel like sometimes things need to break in order for people to hire, right? Things need to break, and I think that there will be some more jobs. Once again, it's just we're in this transition period, and I don't know how long this transition period is going to last, right? So yeah, that's my video on me getting laid off. I'm back into the job market, specifically looking for threat intelligence roles, open to anything adjacent. But yeah, I'm out there with you guys as well, boots on the ground. So I just want to let you know, yeah, you guys aren't alone. If you got laid off and you're stuck in like in a bad job situation and you want to leave, and the job market's just tough, or you're just out there looking for a new graduate, looking for a cybersecurity job, I totally understand. And I just want you to know that you're not the only person going through some of these obstacles. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching my video. If you guys have any suggestions on any topics you would like me to talk about, let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. And take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, and see you guys in the next one.